Hello, everybody. Today, another treat for you. I was attending the conference of Bhakti Yoga, and I gave a special lecture on Bhakti Yoga and Jyotish remedial measures. And I am sharing this with you. This lecture was via Zoom, and it was for the Shivananda Yoga Farm Bhakti Yoga Thanksgiving weekend. And Bhakti Yoga is the yoga of devotion. And what I'm explaining in this lecture is that how devotion to the planets, to the planetary deities, can be a wonderful remedy for those who are seeking peace of mind, calmness, how to deal with these issues. So it was a wonderful talk, even though I'm saying it myself. So let us explore. Hello, I'm Komilla Sutton, and I'm talking about Bhakti Yoga and Jyotish remedies. Do remember to subscribe, press the bell notification. I'm always trying to offer new things to you as my followers on YouTube. And this is about Bhakti Yoga and Jyotish remedies. Bhakti means devotion, and it is prayer and devotion to the divine that we purify ourselves. And there are many yogas that are there. We are not just talking about physical yoga. I will explain in the class all the different yogas that you can know, and then concentrate on Bhakti Yoga and how it affects astrology. So today at this Thanksgiving retreat, I'm talking about Bhakti Yoga and Jyotish remedies. And this is Lord Vishnu. Yesterday in my talk, I had Lord Shiva. So we are seeking the blessing of Lord Vishnu. I'm here. This photograph is at the Parshurama temple. This is a 2nd century temple in India for Lord Parshurama. And so let us begin the chanting. Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha. Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha. Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha. Adipujam Ganadhyaksham Umaputram Vinayakam Mangalam Paramam Rupam Shri Ganesham Namamyaham. Om Dhanamulam Gurur Murti Pujamulam Gurur Padam Mantramulam Gurur Vakyam Mokshamulam Gurur Kripa. Om Adityaya Somaya Mangalaya Budaya Cha Guru Shukra Shanibhyascha Rahuve Ketave Namaha. Japa Kusum Sankasham Kashyapeyam Mahadvitim Tamorim Sarva Papagnam Pranato Asmi Divakaram. So we continue with Bhakti Yoga and Jyotish remedies. And I think this photograph is from the Ganesha temple in Sacramento of Lord Vishnu. So we have some beautiful temples here. So today I'm actually talking about remedies, and these are known as Upaya. They form integral part of Jyotish. Actually, it is not so much that the chart that you are looking at, but we are seeing what is, how you're dealing with things, and
what are the remedies you can do? So what remedies we want to do? We want to do of the birth chart, strengths and weaknesses, past karma that has been accumulated. Dasha's transit create further karma blocks to spiritual growth. Upayas done to balance the birth chart, deal with difficult karma, dashas and transits. So why do we do upaya or remedies? To make sure the soul starts accumulating its positive remedy energies rather than spending it. You see, it's very important for us to understand that we have many positive things, but by lifestyle and things, we tend to spend it all. So once we start thinking about remedies, we are thinking about creating positive energies for ourselves. Avoid burdening the soul with inner debt that creates emotional and health problems, to stop running on empty. What happens is the present lifestyle, the choices, we burn ourselves out. And therefore, we create a problem for ourselves. So this is really an important factor, that we have to stop running on empty. To follow any of these upayas, you must believe in what you're doing. Just doing upaya without faith cannot bring results. And I think this is really the whole concept of bhakti. Bhakti yoga, there's no point doing it if your mind is in doubt. So anything, whether you're doing Jyotish remedies or you're doing bhakti yoga, you do have to think about how you're going to, what is your attitude towards it. And faith is very important, that you trust this is the process, and then you allow your mind to relax and be doing the remedies. That is the most important factor. So chart difficulties can be past life issues, problem planets, debilitation, yuddhas, planetary war, combustion, any close conjunctions with Rahu, Ketu, Saturn, Mars in your chart. If you have moon with Rahu or moon with Ketu, any planets with Saturn or Mars. So even moon with them, or planets with Rahu, Ketu. Generally, because we are born into this life, all of us have to do some remedies. We can't ignore the remedies. This is part of life. So you are also healing the wounds of past life. Vedic astrology prescribes many past life remedies, identify the weakness in the past life in Rashi and Varga chart. And most importantly, greater the problem, the longer it takes to resolve. Good transits, dashas can help. And I think this is most important. Personal effort, belief, commitment is essential. If we want to sort out our issues, if we want to work with what karma we have brought, we have to make some effort. It has taken thousands of years, many lifetimes to accumulate these things. They're not going to just do it quickly, or any shortcut is not possible. There has to be commitment and long-term energy. And of course, remedies are essential when you're going through tough transits and dashas. So, for example, if you are having some issues in your birth chart, or you don't have anything in your birth chart, but transits are tough, or like the last 2 years, we have been going through COVID. So we are all kind of subservient to that aspect. So we can be doing some remedies for that as well. So there has to be a strategy for remedies. This is thing that I have come to the conclusion after years of practice, myself doing the remedies, but also teaching and seeing, advising about it, is that we should be regularly doing remedies. Every year we should plan for what remedies we should do. This should be part of our lifestyle, just like you want to have good food and good habits and vitamins and herbs and all those things. This is also as much part of the remedy. Today, I'm only focusing on Bhakti Yoga remedies, but there's lots of other remedies you can do as well. And we should have a strategy, a planning that we are doing. So in this, the path of yoga is essential discipline for doing remedies. It helps us purify our chart, bring in the right thinking. You see, it's not always that you have to think, this is what is happening in my chart. This is the important factor. I must concentrate on that itself. No, if you're following the path of yoga, I'm following the discipline that comes with yoga. And I just don't mean going to the gym and doing yoga asana. I think here I don't need to teach that, but it is a serious yoga. Then that is, it's a most, I would say, the basic aspect of remedy. And we have to consider that. And of course, yoga means union. And here it refers to union of mind, body, and spirit. Yoga is not just the asana practice of physical postures, but deeper philosophy by which we can live our lives. To bring ultimate balance, develop to a higher path and connection with God. So what is happening is that your chart and the issues in the chart is creating a disconnection with the divine. It's creating a disconnection with your soul. So when you start doing yoga, of course, it helps to know the chart and understand everything. But when you start doing yoga, you are creating that connection again. You're bringing the harmony, the balance, and for all kinds of difficult issues, planetary wars, conjunctions, difficult planetary times, mind aspect, all those things, the practice of yoga is very important. And as we have been, I'm sure you've heard some very great lectures on this, but the 4 parts of yoga are very important. And the book on this is Bhagavad Gita. And Swami Shivananda's translation is excellent. If you don't have it, I have many translations of Bhagavad Gita, but I find Swami Shivananda's is excellent. I think you can get it online from the ashram. It is a great resource because that is where the 4 paths are talked about. And I myself have heard Swami Sita talk many times on it. So my presentation is kind of connected to her teaching. And so the 4 main parts of yoga are karma yoga, bhakti yoga, raja yoga, and jnana yoga. Each is suited to a different temperament or approach to life. All paths ultimately lead to the same destination, to union with Brahman or God. And the lessons of each of them need to be integrated if true wisdom is attained. So although this whole weekend is about Bhakti Yoga, we have to understand that they're not standalone paths. Each leads to the next, and we need to integrate them. People can choose one of the 4 paths in order to find the higher truth, but in practice, it's important to follow all 4 in order to really purify and find your higher self. Each path is part of a developmental process. What I find is that when we are doing this, giving ourselves totally to one path of yoga, the other path automatically opens up to us. And when we are ready, we can move towards that path. So all the paths can live side by side. And one is not, we don't have to compartmentalize them. They are all interconnected. So today, the main path is Bhakti Yoga. And I'm going to talk about that as far as astrology is concerned. So Bhakti Yoga is motivated chiefly by the power of love, sees God as the embodiment of love. Through prayer, worship, ritual, he surrenders himself to God, channeling, transmuting his emotions into unconditional unconditional love and devotion. So the Bhakti Yoga, the ability to connect to the divine, actually. Uh, Chanting, mantra, japa, kirtan, singing praises of God, prayers form a substantial part of Bhakti Yoga. Included in Bhakti Yoga rituals, pilgrimage, satsang, truthful or good company. Now, I find when I go to South India and especially Tamil Nadu, it's an embodiment of Bhakti Yoga. You know, people go and worship their deities with full love and affection, and they're totally involved in that. So this Bhakti Yoga, it's not just it's that devotion that is there, and that is very important. Bhakti Yoga immerses itself in worship of divine. It's an excellent remedy for those who are emotional and sensitive. You know, if your emotions are very high and you need to give those emotions to somebody, you need somebody who can nurture them and support those emotions. And through bhakti, then this is a wonderful way, because sometimes humans are not able to support. Sometimes they are only able to do that much. So this is a aspect here. It is the best remedy for moon and Venus issues. We cannot just rely on Bhakti Yoga for remedies. It has to be a bigger part of strategy as well. But suppose, you know, you have a moon that has got difficult conjunctions, or Venus that has got difficult conjunctions, or also I would say water signs. If you're a lot of planets in Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces, then Bhakti Yoga would be more useful for you, because you are naturally attuned to the Bhakti Yoga. So moon deals with the emotional makeup of the individual. It's not just the weakness of the moon, but how you deal with the moon. Moon changes daily. Its impact on our emotions is powerful. So, when we look at the chart for today, you see today moon is, let me see, that's not today's chart. Yeah, today moon is in Leo, and it's quite okay. It's opposite Jupiter, so it's well supported. But moon can go into, what's the right word? It's going to go into an eclipse on third of this third night. So then before that, it'll be moon will be with Mars. So second moon will be with Mars. Then it's going to go into eclipse. So that means that even though there may be nothing in your chart that is indicating a problem, but moon will be for that 2-3 days feel stressed out. But if you are naturally sensitive and naturally emotional, then this can be even more complicated for you. So I think that it is important to understand this quality from an astrological point of view. Bhakti Yoga is not just done for the moon, worship of planets and their deities. So when I was thinking, not today, but I was thinking last few days about the Bhakti Yoga class, and I thought I'll talk about the Bhakti to the planets, because it is the planets, and each of the planet has its own deity. And of course, as I already said to you, that the path of yoga that is most important that we should follow before we think about doing these things. So that is, you are here at the Shivananda ashram class online, so that yoga is part of you anyway. But it is important to understand that the bhakti to the planets, this is the important part. And how do you do bhakti yoga for the planets? You would do, there are a number of aspects of bhakti to the planet. And today we are going to concentrate on the mantra of the planets. But you could do the mantra of the planets and then simple mantra japa. I started the class with the mantra today for Saturn. Oh, I did it for Sunday. It was today, Saturday. I should do the mantra for Saturn. Um, uh, so you do the mantra for each of the planet has its own deity. There's a simple way to look at deity. There are complex ways to look at deities. We're just going to look at simple aspects of deity. And then there is pilgrimage that you can do. You can also do prayer ceremonies for deities. So there's a number of ways that you can get involved in the planets and in order to worship them. So the first aspect is mantra. Mantra is man means mind, tra is to protect. Mantra protects the mind through chanting the sacred hymns. You do mantra chanting every day with satsang. There's Shivananda book of prayers, all those chants. If you are doing it with a planned action, it is going to help you. You always do the mantras, chanting the hymns. That is very useful for you. Mantra can enhance the positive energies, calm the negative energies of the planets. Now, one of the big advantages of doing mantra is that it can be done for a malefic or a benefic planet. If you do mantra for Saturn, it is just as good. Saturn is a malefic planet. You're not considering whether he's a good planet for me or not. You will do the mantra. The main thing is this: before you do the mantra, you have to have the devotion, the bhakti. So you can do for benefic, like if you want to do mantra for Venus. The thing is this: when you're doing the mantra for one planet, it affects all the others as well. Don't think I'm just doing for the moon, it's not going to affect others, or just doing for Saturn. It kind of shifts the energy within you. And doing the mantra is a very good practice to do. Mantras were done for purifying the mind, or are done for a weak planet that needs strengthening. You can do mantra for your Dasha Lord, Bhukti Lord, or planet making a difficult transit. You can do mantra for your strong planets, weak planets, anybody, anything else. So today I'm going to really concentrate on the different mantras that we can do for the planets. And then there are different types of mantra. You have the Nama mantra. This is for beginners. You can give these mantras to those who are new to the practice of mantras. This is something that Swami Pandit Samavedula said to me, that it is important that you do give a simple mantra, because people may use it, may not respect the mantra. You see, if you're taking a mantra, that has to be respected. You can't just be casual about it. And then the Bija mantras used for Japa practice, repetition of mantras. This is more for advanced students and advanced people who honor the mantras, who will do the mantras. So these two types. So we have the name mantra. They're just simple mantras. And, they're very easy to remember as well. Then we come to the next step in mantra practice, which is japa practice. And japa practice is a repetition of mantras. So when you do mantra, regular practice of mantra, you can do it 12 times, 108 times to start with. Then you can progress to full japa practice. So the japa is like you are gaining the power of the mantra. You keep on repeating the mantra and you do it, and 108 is a sacred number. So you can do the mantra for 108 times. And this is also a devotional aspect, that you're doing it. And you can chant the mantra of the day. Today's day is Saturday. I don't know. I've been thinking it's Sunday for a long time. So I put the sun's mantra out there. So let us just chant the mantra of the day today. Om Neelanjana Samabhasam Ravi Putram Yamagrajam Chayamaratanda Sambhutam Tam Namami Shanishcharam. So, Nama mantra for Saturn would be just simple. Om Shaniye Namaha. And the Bija mantra has these special seed mantras there. And the seed can grow into a tree. So that is why when you do a Bija mantra, you're creating many trees of mantras for yourself. And the Saturn Bija would be Om Pram Prim Pram Sa Shanishcharaya Namaha. I'm going to do them all in detail later on. So mantras, I think I've gone backwards. So japa must be practiced at the same time on consecutive days. There should be no break in japa. So once you decide to practice, do a japa practice, you decide the number of days you're going to do. Number of times you're going to do. A few years ago, I had gone to Rishikesh. And just by chance, we met many great gurus and teachers, and we got to talk to them, not just meet, but talk to them. And everybody had one question from me was, what is your japa practice? And I met this Swami. He was in charge of the goddess temple in Haridwar, and he asked me this question, and he said, you should do the japa for the goddess. And I said, how long I should do, how much I should do. I said, I'm very keen to do. And he told me to do 350,000 times. So I was quite surprised and shocked at the number of things. And he said, oh, that's, I'll give you small practice. So I realized what he was telling me was that I needed to do 1,000 mantras a day for the goddess for a whole year, because then to finish that 350,000 would have taken almost a year. 360 days in a year, 365. So I did it, but it was very beautiful. And these japa practices, they are wonderful, the astrology japa practice is a bit less than these numbers, but japa should be thought about and practiced. So japa practice should begin on the day the planet with a waxing moon. If a planet itself is strong at the start of japa practice, then it is a good day. So for example, now today is Saturday, so it is Saturn's day. Saturn is strong just now. However, we are in a waning moon cycle, and it is eclipse season. So I would not start a japa around this time. I would wait after the solar eclipse and do the japa then. Today is Ashtami Tithi of the dark half. So this is a waning moon time. So even though it is Saturn's day, I would wait for it. Sometimes people are not that particular. So you begin it, but then you decide that I'm going to do X amount of japa every day. You're not doing more one day and less the other day, and you're doing it at the same time. This is most important. Always start your practice, any practice that you do, you always start with the Ganesha mantra. And then you can honor the Graha, Adi and Pratyati Devata, and then do the Bija mantra. However, today we are not going to look, we are just going to look at the Graha and his Devata. But whenever you start any practice, every day, when you are starting, you first honor Lord Ganesha. So today also with my mantra practice, I honored Lord Ganesha. So start the practice with Ganesha mantra. And so here now, what I'm going to do today is that I'm going to give you the bhakti of the planets. So bhakti yoga of the planets. And so always you start with the bhakti yoga of Lord Ganesha. It's a good idea to get either an idol or photographs of the deity that you are planning to practice, so that you are visually you can see. It's not necessary to have a visual representation, but we may want that so that we can understand. And this is Lord Ganesha at Meenakshi temple. Now they don't let you take the camera inside. This was a few years ago that I took this picture. So whenever you start this, just the three, this is also the Bija for Gam is the Bija for Lord Ganesha. Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha. Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha. Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha. You may like to chant. I can't hear you, but you can chant if you would like to repeat with me. Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha. Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha. Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha. And then the Nama practice, you can do Nama mantra practice. And one of the things that I thought about, that you could actually do a simple practice of these Nama mantras. And you can begin with the Surya, 108 Surya on Sunday. On Monday, Moon's Day, 108 for Chandra, Moon. Tuesday, you would do for Mangal, Mars. Wednesday, you do for Mercury, 108. Thursday, you do Jupiter, 108. Friday, Venus, 108. Saturday, Saturn, 108. And the following week, on Tuesday, you could do Ketu. And then Saturday for Rahu, because Ketu acts like Mars and Saturn acts like Rahu. So these mantra practices, you can decide, like anytime New Year, you can decide to begin your New Year practice with the Nama mantra practice. And I'm going to give you all the Nama mantras now for the planet. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to chant it twice, and then you chant it twice yourself. Om Suryaya Namaha. Om Suryaya Namaha. Om Suryaya Namaha. Om Suryaya Namaha. Then for the moon, Om Chandraya Namaha. Om Chandraya Namaha. Om Chandraya Namaha. Om Chandraya Namaha. And moon has another name, Soma. So you can choose either one of them. Om Somaya Namaha. Om Somaya Namaha. Repeat. Om Somaya Namaha. Om Somaya Namaha. And then Mars, Om Mangalaya Namaha. Om Mangalaya Namaha. Om Mangalaya Namaha. So this photograph is from Navagraha temple in London. And here what you can see is that I had gone to the temple on Tuesday, and they had lit a lamp. A devotee had lit a lamp in front of Mars. And, this Bhakti Yoga practice, that on the day of the planet, you go to the temple and you go and light a lamp, make an offering to the temple. This is very much part of a Bhakti Yoga practice. You can do it at home as well. You can light a lamp and do the mantras as well for the Bhakti Yoga practice. And this is Buddha. Om Buddhaya Namaha. Om Buddhaya Namaha. Om Buddhaya Namaha. Om Buddhaya Namaha. Buddha is Mercury, and you can see his color is green. I don't know whether that would be Bhakti Yoga practice. You could wear green on Wednesday, which is Buddha's day, and honor the planetary deity. And Jupiter, Om Brihaspataye Namaha. Om Brihaspataye Namaha. Repeat. Om Brihaspataye Namaha. Om Brihaspataye Namaha. And another mantra for Brihaspati is Om Guruve Namaha. Om Guruve Namaha. Om Guruve Namaha. Om Guruve Namaha. So you see, the Guru is celebrated. Thursday is Guru's day. So, but if you decide, you could do the 108 Nama mantras on Thursday, honoring the Guru. And then Shukra, that's Venus. Om Shukraya Namaha. Om Shukraya Namaha. Om Shukraya Namaha. Om Shukraya Namaha. And then Saturn, I did this mantra earlier. This is Saturn at Yoga Farm. I took this photograph at one of my visits. There's beautiful Shani. Om Shaniye Namaha. Om Shaniye Namaha. Om Shaniye Namaha. And then Rahu. Om Rahuve Namaha. Om Rahuve Namaha. Om Rahuve Namaha. And finally Ketu. Om Ketuve Namaha. Om Ketave Namaha. Om Ketave Namaha. Om Ketave Namaha. So this is a simple way of practicing the Nama mantra. And, you can do on the day of the planet. So each day is their sun I told you the list: Sunday for Surya, Monday for Chandra, Tuesday for Mangal, Mars, Wednesday for Mercury, Thursday for Jupiter, Friday for Venus, Saturday for Saturn, and the following week, Tuesday for Ketu, and Saturday for Rahu. The Nama mantra is adding Om, the name of the planet, and Namaha. So it is honoring the main aspect of these chants is your emotional connection, and that you are in the mode of bhakti, doing these chants, and you are doing that. You can do these consecutively as a sadhana, as a practice. It is a 9-day practice, and it is a very nice, sweet practice. Actually, it came to me last year only that this is one of the ways that we can honor the planets. And doing the 108 mantras, you can do them with a mala. One mala is 108, and this would be a very good bhakti yoga practice. Now, if you you can also just do like once a week, you can do all the mantras one after the other. So I have got this, I call it a mala, like a necklace. So you can do this together. Om Suryaya Namaha, Om Somaya Namaha, Om Mangalaya Namaha, Om Buddhaya Namaha, Om Guruve Namaha, Om Shukraya Namaha, Om Shaniye Namaha, Om Rahuve Namaha, Om Ketave Namaha. So you can add this 9 mantra practice only to your existing sadhana. This would not be like a specific sadhana for the Navagrahas, but this is a good beginner sadhana that you can do, and you can add this as a Nama mantra practice. Now, the more complicated mantras are the Bija mantras. So Bija means a seed mantra, and the seeds of mantra are sown so that that one mantra creates a whole tree. You see, when you do a Nama mantra, it has no seed in it. So it's just how many you're doing. And you can chant the Bija mantras. I'm going to chant them today. And you can chant the Bija mantras again in the same way, or you can do Bija mantras for each planet as a Japa practice. So you can do the 108 Bijas same way as you would do the Bija mantra mala. That means you do it over a 2-week period, really. You complete the full practice of 108 Bija mantras. So this is the Bija mantras for each of the planets. And I'm going to chant it once and twice. You can follow with me. So Surya, Sun, Bija mantra. Om Ram Hrim Ram Sa Suryaya Namaha. Om Ram Hrim Ram Sa Suryaya Namaha. So for Monday, you would do for Chandra, moon, Om Shram Shrim Shram Sa Chandramasaya Namaha. Om Shram Shrim Shram Sa Chandramasaya Namaha. Tuesday would be Mangal, Mars. Om Kram Krim Kram Sa Bhaumaya Namaha. Om Kram Krim Kram Sa Bhaumaya Namaha. Wednesday would be Mercury. Om Brahm Brim Brahm Sa Budhaya Namaha. Om Brahm Brim Brahm Sa Budhaya Namaha. So these Bija mantras, you can do a whole Japa practice or just do one at a time, like I'm showing you for different days. Thursday for Jupiter. Om Gram Grim Gram Sa Brihaspataye Namaha. Om Gram Grim Gram Sa Brihaspataye Namaha. Friday for Venus. Om Dram Dream Dram Sa Shukraya Namaha. Om Dram Dream Dram Sa Shukraya Namaha. Saturday for Saturn. Om Pram Prim Pram Sa Shaneshwaraya Namaha. Om Pram Prim Pram Sa Shaneshwaraya Namaha. And then the following week on Tuesday, you could do the mantra for Ketu, Bija mantra, seed mantra. Om Sram Srim Sram Sa Ketave Namaha. Om Sram Srim Sram Sa Ketave Namaha. And Saturday for Rahu. Om Bram Bhrim Bram Sa Rahave Namaha. Om Bram Bhrim Bram Sa Rahave Namaha. So one aspect about pronunciation, we are all speaking, even myself, my pronunciation is not perfect. But when I'm chanting these mantras, I'm doing them with the bhakti, with my heart. So I feel that is as important. People, I like to do my mantras slowly because I want to taste all the flavor of the mantra. I'm not in a rush to complete the mantras. When the priests chant it, they do it rushed. They are trained. I'm not trained in mantra training. It's my own training. So, when you're trying to learn these mantras, it's important to not be shy, but, put it on repeat and learn the mantras again and again. And then you can, nothing like practice, you do the practice, you can do it 3 times, 12 times, 108 times. And then soon you will become master at it. You'll know how to do these mantras. So the Japa practice for planets. Now, if you have really an issue with the planet and you want to do the full Japa practice, or you just want to honor the planets, the full Japa practice is 1,000 times the year of the dashas. So, for example, sun is 6 years long. So the Japa of Bija for the sun is done 6,000 times, and repeat daily the same number of japa till it's complete. So when you're starting to do the japa for Surya, you're going to start on Sunday with a waxing moon. So you're not going to start this Sunday because it's an eclipse in between, but next Sunday after the eclipse, you can start the practice. You can split up. You can do 1,000 a day, and in 6 days, you'll have completed it. But as a beginner, I would suggest that do either 1 mala, which is 108, or 2 malas. It'll take some time, but you complete the mantra for Surya if you want to start with Surya. You can do japa for your Lagna Lord, your Moon Lord, Dasha Lord, anything that you want to do japa for, you can do. Again, I'm only teaching very simple japa. If you want to go more complex, then you have to, there's always more complexity to these things. Each mantra has its own number of repetitions that need to be done. As I told you that the Swamis in Haridwar and Rishikesh were saying 125,000 minimum, or I got to do 350,000. I was just very beautiful experience. So when you do the repetitions, you get the power of the mantra. The rule is 10,000, 1,000 times the number of years of the Vimshottari. There are other rules as well, but as an astrology follower, I use these ones. So these are the full Bija mantras that you have to complete. Surya is 6,000, Chandra is 10,000, Mangal is 7,000, Mercury 17, Jupiter 16, Venus 20,000, Saturn 19,000, Rahu 18,000, and Ketu 7,000. Just to, Surya is the sun, Chandra is moon, Mangal is Mars. Now, one of the practices I did was, personally did, I started with Surya, I completed 6,000, then I did Chandra, and I did all the 9 planets, one after the other. It took me, I think, 2 to 3 years to complete them, because each time I did the mantra, I also then waited for, good moon position to start on a Monday, waxing moon. So it couldn't be just done one after the other, then Mars. And so each one. And the most difficult one was to do first for Ketu, because Ketu was not just letting me do the mantra. There was always something that was stopping the Ketu mantra, but I finally completed the mantra practice. And every year I personally do 19,000 Saturn mantras. This was told to me by my Guruji that I should fast for Saturn. But because of health reasons, I can't fast for Saturn. So I'm doing the mantra for Saturn. So this is kind of important factor. Then you can also worship the deities of the planet. So each planet has its own deity, and I'm talking about the mantras, but you can do other worship. You can go to visit the temples, you can do pujas. There's all very complex aspect, and I think at the ashram they are teaching you a lot of things about the bhakti, and Pandit Samavedula and Swamiji and all the other Swamiji is also very expert at this knowledge. But when you're worshipping a deity, many of the deities are connected to planets. So when you do satsang and you're doing all the mantras, you're automatically doing the remedy for your planets, the bhakti for the planets without being conscious of it. The only difference is that you can be conscious. If you know your chart, you're into astrology, then you can look at that and see that how yoga is a correct remedial measure for this aspect. So now I'm going to introduce you to the deities of the planets and the mantra for each of the deities. And this is for Sun is Lord Shiva. Now, Sun can be any of the main deities of any religion. You could say Lord Vishnu also you could worship for Sun, but normally worshipping of Lord Shiva. Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya. So you see, when you're doing 108 times Om Namah Shivaya, you can do 1,008 times Om Namah Shivaya, you can do 125 times Om Namah Shivaya. It will give you strength, it will give you confidence, it will purify your inner being. Sun is the Atma Karaka, the representation of the soul. And all this has a effect on the other planets as well. So when you are doing the mantra Om Namah Shivaya, and you see, you can do it just as a mantra 3 times, 4 times, 12 times, or you can do 108 times more. But you have to plan. You're not doing random. One of my clients was telling me, oh, I did 10,000 mantras today. And I said, what did you do yesterday? Oh, nothing. I was free today. I could do it. When you're planning a japa practice, you have to think, I'm going to do that many over the, and there's got to be like a discipline with it. Sadhana, it has to be a discipline. Then moon can be Saraswati, but also moon deity is Gauri. Gauri is a wife of Lord uh, Shiva. And so this is the mantra for Gauri. Om Sarva Mangal Mangalye Shive Sarvartha Sadhike Sharanye Trambike Gauri Narayani Namostute. Now this mantra can be done for any of the goddesses. Instead of Gauri, you can put Devi. Devi is goddess. Om Sarva Mangal Mangalye Shive Sarvartha Sadhike Sharanye Trambike Devi Narayani Namostute. So for moon, also Lord Shiva can be chanted. You see here, Lord Shiva, he wears the moon in his hair. So he's master of the mind. So you can do Om Namah Shivaya for Monday as well as a chant. So therefore, that if you're doing Om Namah Shivaya mantra, it is actually helping all the planets. Then for Kartikeya or for Mars, Kartikeya is the deity. And, there's a whole remedy to visit Kartikeya temples. Om Sarvana Bhava. Om Sarvana Bhavaya Namaha. So there are 6 temples for Lord Kartikeya. He has 6 heads. That's a pilgrimage in itself. And that would be a pilgrimage for Mars. But Mars deity is Kartikeya. When you visit these temples, you hear people chanting this in full bhakti mode, when you're waiting for the darshan. Om Sarvana Bhava. I find it difficult to chant without the Namaha. So I like the second one. Om Sarvana Bhavaya Namaha. And so remember the days of the planets as well. But so for example, on Tuesday you can do. And Mercury is Vishnu Narayana. And Om Namo Narayanaya, Om Namo Narayanaya, Om Namo Narayanaya. We did this very nicely yesterday in the drama that the Prahlad was chanting this mantra. And this is also for Mercury. Lord Vishnu, you could also do for Surya because he's the prime deity as well. You could do Rama mantra for Surya as well. And then Brahma is for Jupiter. And Brahma is not worshipped in India. So you worship Lord Shiva. Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya. Or you can do the mantra for Guru. Om Guru Bhyo Namaha. Om Guru Bhyo Namaha. Om Guru Bhyo Namaha. And sorry, I don't know what I did with the other mantras. Excuse me. I did some mistake here. Yeah, and then Lakshmi is the goddess for Venus, and this beautiful picture of Lakshmi, goddess for Venus. So Friday is Venus's day. So these are the different mantras that I have for Goddess Lakshmi. Om Mahalakshmiye Namaha. Om Mahalakshmiye Namaha. Om Mahalakshmiye Namaha. You can do the Bija for Goddess Lakshmi, and this Bija you can do, for 125,000 times. I did the Bija for all the goddesses. I did that, but you can do this if you want to do. Om Shreem, Om Shreem, Om Shreem. And then here's the other Bija. Om Hreem Shreem Lakshmi Bhayo Namaha. Om Hreem Shreem Lakshmi Bhayo Namaha. So you do the mantra for Goddess Lakshmi for Friday. Actually, Friday, people are very careful. They want to keep Lakshmi at home. So Lakshmi is also connected to wealth and prosperity and Bhakti Yoga and spiritual. So people keep Friday very special as a day. And especially if you have relationship aspect, you want to have a divine relationship, then worshipping Goddess Lakshmi on Friday is very good. And in either one of the three mantras or other mantras, as I told you, this is a simple mantra practice class for it. And then we come to Lord Shiva. He is the deity for Saturn. And Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya. Actually, when you go and visit the pilgrimage of all the Navagrahas, the 9 planetary temples, each of the temple actually is Lord Shiva's temple. Therefore, in order to do bhakti to planets, actually doing bhakti to Lord Shiva is very powerful because he is encompassing all the planets. So you could think about doing bhakti to him, and that itself would be very beautiful. And Om Namah Shivaya, you could think about doing mantra for 125,000 times. That would be good, but to start off, just do 108. I do, it just takes me 2 minutes to do Om Namah Shivaya alongside with the other mantras. And then we come to Rahu. Rahu's goddess is Durga. And there she's all powerful. She can defeat Rahu. And for Durga, you can also think about Navaratri. Navaratri is very important festival for bhakti. And it is also 9 nights. It also can be connected to the 9 planets. And the bija for Goddess Durga is Om Dum Durgaye Namaha. Om Dum Durgaye Namaha. Om Dum Durgaye Namaha. And the mantra here, you see this, I'll just change this. The mantra, you can, instead of Gauri, you can put Devi, or you can even put Durga here. You can replace it with that part of the mantra. You can replace it. Om Sarva Mangal Mangalye Shive Sarvartha Sadhike Sharanye Trambike Durga Narayani Namostute. or you can do just to Devi. Devi is all the goddesses. Sarva Mangal Mangalye Shive Sarvartha Sadike Sharanye Trambike Devi Narayani Namostute. And Ketu that deals with our past karma, all the karmic baggage that we carry in this life, in order to remove the blocks for that karmic baggage, we would pray to Lord Ganesha. So actually, Ketu comes last in the series of the Navagraha, but daily when you are doing all these mantras, you are praying to Lord Ganesha at the start. So you are asking him to heal your past life karma, to remove obstacles in your mind, in your body, in your soul, anywhere that you're thinking about that Lord Ganesha. But you see, these are not to be done casually. They have to be done with respect, with honor. Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha. Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha. Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha. And then, you can get a Navagraha Puja done every time that, there's a function at the ashram. Swami Sita and the other Swamis, they organize the Navagraha Puja there. So you see, when you're participating in the Navagraha Puja, you are purifying your chart, you're purifying your thinking. But you have to sit with the mode of bhakti that, you have to think that you really are respecting this knowledge. I don't know whether believing is the right word, but honoring this, and your heart has to be totally open to the energy coming to you. So the Navagraha is a puja done for all the planets. Then Annadanam. Annadanam, this is we were feeding the devotees here. Now these devotees are not poor, but people want to share the food that is God's food. And in a way, when you are sharing the food, you are sharing your karma. You are sharing this, they are dividing the sorrow that you feel. So sharing of food, honoring the food, distributing food, giving food as a donation with this total bhakti in mind is very good remedy as well. And then Homa. Again, Homa can be done for each of the planets. It can be done for all the planets together. You can do a Homa for Lord Shiva. You can do Homa for Lord Vishnu. These are fire ceremonies. They are long and complex. We cannot do it ourselves. We need a priest to do it because they are specialists, enabled to deal with fire. This photograph is from Chidambaram temple in Tamil Nadu. They do a beautiful puja there, and this temple is for the ether element. And, these are not a tourist site experience. You're going to imbibe that energy and purify yourself when you're sitting even in a homa at the ashram. Beautiful homas are done, and it clears your mind. It releases something that thinking, analyzing. This is the advantage of bhakti, that you cannot analyze it. You cannot say, this is my issue. But through bhakti, all those things get released. They open up for us. So sitting through Homa is a very good experience. And then pilgrimage. Here I am at Goddess Durga temple. This is Naina Devi temple. It's very close to Chandigarh where I live. And there are 9 goddesses temples there that you can go as a yatra to different goddesses. This is the eyes of the goddess, and you have to climb up quite a way and reach there. So this is the eyes of the goddess pilgrimage. A very interesting story about, I was going to do a pilgrimage of the 9 goddesses, and I rang up the priest who I knew at one of the temples, and he said, don't come on that day. And I never took it seriously. But I told him, no, my dates are fixed. We have to come on that day. So he said, okay, if you have to come very early because there's going to be a big crowd. I was going to visit the goddess temples on Navratri. And it was Navratri 2020. So the goddess was giving me a message, don't come, because it was going to be impossible. The COVID was on, and therefore that was a difficult thing. But pilgrimage is also part of bhakti. People in the olden times, they used to wish once in a lifetime they would do pilgrimage. Nowadays, we are very privileged and fortunate. We can go to many pilgrimages. And pilgrimage, again, it is not something that you can quantify. It has millions of people have visited those places, and you are connecting to that energy when you plug into the pilgrimage. And if you go with the right intention, these are very much powerful. And each planet has its own pilgrimage site, and each of the deities also of the planetary deities has their own pilgrimages. So you can be doing pilgrimage all the time as well. So that is it for today. These are my books. I don't know whether they're available at the ashram, but I'm now open for any questions you may have.